It's the Gravy Master, man. Listen, this is a tutorial video on how to do a mid-fade, you know what I mean? Supplying gravy to the community in the tri-state area. No doofenshmirtz, you know what's going on, man. You know the vibe, I'm trying to stay alive, man. Something slight for the fans, not too heavy like a Chevy. Always gotta stay ready, cause I'm a barber and my hands stay steady. You know what's going on, Hey, what's going on, YouTube? It's the Gravy Master. I'm new to this tutorial stuff, so give me some slack. But little background behind why they call me the Gravy Master. Man, I put gravy on everything, so I might as well put it in my barber name. You heard me. So this is a tutorial of how to do a mid fade, and let's get into the video. So what we're about to do is setting the first guideline. So that's why I'm pointing at right now, and we already cut the hair down to a 1. So that's what we're working with on the top. So I'm brushing the hair to make sure it's going in the correct pattern and the way that the grain of the hair goes, just so it won't give me too much slack when I go to set the first guideline in. So that's what you see me doing, just putting every hair in place that needs to be where it needs to be. And you can never brush too much, just brush to your comfortability or comb and just make sure, you know, the hair is laying the way that it's supposed to lay. And now we angle the head up to get the right position and right lighting, and we ready to get into it. So now I'm taking my trimmers and I'm setting the first guideline a little bit below the vertical bar. So that's where we're gonna set the guideline at, and we using the trimmers to bald the fade and just take all the hair from the bottom. Some barbers do it other ways. That's the way I do it. So, you know, whatever works for you. And just thoroughly comb the hair while you're cutting it, just to make sure you haven't missed anything. Never hurts to comb, so just make sure you get everything. But you can always go back. So into the upcoming barbers that's, you know, wanting to cut hair, don't get discouraged by the work that you see by, you know, professional barbers, because they putting a lot of time to get to the skill level they're at. So, you know, just take your time, man. You'll get there. You know, patience is a virtue. So, you know, in the barber game, man, you know, you're not gonna come out giving crispy blends and, you know, sharp shape ups, and, you know, you're gonna mess up here and there. So just find some people that's willing to let you, you know, grow and, you know, build with you, do your craft. They the best type of people to have around. And if you stick to it, you'll definitely get better. You know, it's not for everybody, but if you work hard enough at anything, you'll end up mastering it. So, you know, that's just to the barbers that's coming up, man. Just keep going at it, man. Keep attacking it. You know, repetition, practice just makes you better, you know what I mean? Practice doesn't make perfect, but it does make improvement. So if you can improve it, and then you improve it more and more till you get to where you want to be. So yeah. Now we're about to set in the second guideline. There, the clipper's right there. The lever is open, so clipper open, and we're gonna go on ahead and make the first guideline. So make sure you comb the hair and then come up about an inch. I typically come up about an inch just because it makes it easier for me. You know, you limit your mistakes by making your guidelines smaller. So, you know, it's to your comfortability. But for me, I feel more comfortable making my guideline this size, just because if I need to adjust or fix anything, or, you know, just blend out something, it makes it a lot easier, man. So if you ask me, I would recommend you do it like that, just to limit your mistakes. And, you know, just go over it. Make sure you're combing thoroughly, because a lot of the times when you're a beginning barber, you see hair that's not there. You just need to comb it because it's debris from when you already came in and, you know, use the clipper to cut the hair, but you're not combing it, so it's still there and you're thinking the hair isn't moving. But you also need to clean up your area while cutting. So make sure you comb thoroughly, because that comb is your best friend for sure. And just remember, man, it's never bad to take advice or, you know, criticism. It helps you build your craft, man. So just remember, man, a listening ear will help you a long way. But now we're ready to get into the second guideline. Sorry for the camera, man. But that's the one guard right there. We're going to put on the one guard and close the clipper lever all the way. And we're going to make our second guideline. The same width as the first one. It just makes it a lot easier to make them the same length. You know, there's multiple ways you can do it. But for beginning barbers, midway barbers, or barbers that just want a different perspective, this way would definitely help you out a lot better because, you know, your lines are even. You know, it just help you stay consistent. So you aren't overcompensating, you know, trying to make one line match the other, you know. So we're just going in, like I said before, the comb is your best friend. Make sure that you're combing that hair, because when you cut with the clippers, you shift the grain in different places to manipulate it to lift the hair. So when you comb the hair back into place, that's what lays the blend. So when you lay the blend into place, you start to see it, you know, transform and take its shape, you know, in one line coming to the next line. But yeah, we just gonna go around with the one and just make sure everything is the same length, combing out the debris, readjusting, making sure that everything is there like it needs to be. And just remember that each guard helps the next guard. Each guard helps the next guard. So while you're cutting hair, try to get as much of the hair off as possible. Sometimes it might seem like nothing's coming off, but majority of the time it's some hair coming off. You just can't see it. So just keep that in mind. So this is me going over it, you know, making sure that I'm getting as much of the hair off as possible with that specific guard to make it easier for the next step and the next guard to make the blend, you know, better and make the lines come out easier. Okay, so now we're getting into the step where we're going to put on a half guard. Some people call it the 1-5, some people call it the 0 guard. Depends on where you are. Doesn't really matter. It's all the same. There it goes right there. So we're going to put that guard on and we're going to attack the dark line in between the first guideline and the second guideline that we made. So that's where you're going to see me go. Remember, always follow the pattern in the hair and cut against it when you're blending, because if you cut straight up and down, sometimes it'll leave a line of demarcation, you know, and, you know, it just kind of stroke your confidence a little bit because you'll think that the line isn't coming out when it actually is. So just make sure you comb the hair and cut the hair in the same pattern that the hair grows. It'll give you less trouble and it'll come straight out real easy for you. So that's why you see me combing the opposite way from the way that I'm cutting, because I'm cutting against it, but I'm combing it back into the place that it actually grows, the way that the grain grows. So that's what I'm doing right there. And we're just gonna go around, make sure it's all even, make sure everything's in place. And it's never a bad thing to go over your work, never. Always make sure that, you know, you measure twice, you cut once. So, you know, if you comb it in place just to see where you're going, and then, you know, just glide over the comb like I did, and then you just go back in. So, you know, I adjusted the lever a little bit, turned the lever up just so I can hit the places that were a little dark and get them out of there, and just go in there and it'll come straight out. And remember, man, being a barber is all about repetition. You do the same things over and over in order to kind of master them, but I wouldn't say master because you can always learn something new, but to kind of get them to, you know, the way you want them and get used to them. But now you're gonna see me take off the half guard and play with the lever a little bit, just to show y'all, you know, how the lever moves up and down. And then I'm going to adjust the lever just probably about midway or halfway, and that's where we're going to set it at. And we're going to come in and start taking out the bottom line that we had created with the trimmers. So we're just going to tap it. We're not trying to take the line out. We're just going to tap it and make it lighter. A lot of barbers don't do this. They just come in with the trimmers and take out the line. But for a person that's learning, or, you know, a person that want a better technique to try to limit mistakes, I would definitely recommend you to do this because it just makes your work a lot easier when you lighten it up first before you come in with the trimmers. Because the line's so light, when you come in with the trimmers, it comes out a lot easier. And there's less manipulation you have to do with the clippers in order to get it out. It just helps you out. So as you see, the line has lightened up. And now we have, a little bit of darkness at the top that we're gonna get out, but we're gonna focus on this line and we're gonna open the clipper up and we're gonna start attacking that darkness that you see at the top. So we open the clipper all the way up and we're just gonna tap where the darkness is and just graze over it and get that hair to lighten up. And as you see, the blend is falling in place and every hair is where it needs to be. We're combing. So just remember, when you're cutting, you're combing. When you're cutting, you're combing. When you're combing, you're cutting. Same thing. Always gotta keep that comb in your hand. And just make sure, you go over it and you get everything. Even if you have to go back, like I said before, go back. But yeah, make sure you comb because sometimes your eyes will play tricks on you. Okay, so now that we got everything set up like we wanted and most of the lines are lighter, I'm gonna go back in with the half guard and just attack anything that I see that's still a little bit dark in between those lines just to have it set up the way that I need it set up. So that's what you're gonna see me doing now. I'm going back in and I'm just, nipping at anything that I see that's still a little dark and just combing it. So we're just gonna go back in, everything that we see, so that way when we come across and finally blend the bottom out with the trimmers and get the last line out, we won't be missing anything. So we're gonna make sure you comb it. Like I said, I don't know how many times I'm gonna say it enough. I know that I continuously say it, but a lot of people do not listen and they forget, combing is just as important as the skill of cutting. So yeah. And as you see, the line is super light. It's barely there. Oh yeah, man, and when it come down to it, man, listen, this is my first tutorial. This is my first YouTube video. And don't be too hard on me because I'm just trying to figure this stuff out, you feel me? But if y'all got any advice on what I could do better, editing wise or anything, just, put some comments down, let me know, man. Definitely like and share it for real. I'm trying to get my viewers up. I don't have any, so this is my first video, period. So all help is obliged, man. I appreciate y'all, man. And I hope this video helps some people out, man. Just trying to give you guys a different perspective on cutting hair that you might not have seen, just to make it a little easier for you. I've seen a lot of videos, hopefully mine get better over time, but the techniques will definitely help you. But now we're just gonna go in and we're gonna take the clipper all the way closed and we're gonna hit that bottom line before we hit it with the trimmers, just to get out any debris that's still left or try to lighten it up just a little bit more because it'll help out a whole lot. So you're gonna see me take the clippers there all the way closed and just barely tap the bottom line. I'm just tapping it right on the bottom line to try to lighten it up. So, and don't worry about how much you're going over the client's head. As long as you're not applying too much pressure or, being too aggressive, it's more like a massage to the client. So they enjoy it. Just make sure that, you're doing it within, the level of comfortability for the client. So yeah, as you see, the line is almost gone. So that's really where you want it. That's like the perfect place to have it. And that's, pretty much what I'm doing here. And I'm going to try to get it out as much as possible. And it just makes your job a whole lot easier if you do it in a way where each guard helps the next guard. Okay, last but not least, man, the most important part, taking out that bottom line without creating another line. So my biggest tip to barbers that have a problem with this is basically you do not want to put the clipper on the head. You want to kind of graze it over. So apply light pressure on the line because it's already faint. That's what we did all the other work for. And it's just going to come out. As you see, it's coming out real easy. I'm just tapping at it. I'm not even fully applying the whole entire clipper on it. I'm just kind of going in an X motion, left and right, different angles, and just tapping at it, and it comes out smoothly. So that's what you want to do, man. That's my biggest tip to you, man. Just make sure that you don't make another line. So just, lightly go in there, and kind of just pluck at it a little bit, and it'll lift up, and then, it'll come out. Take your time with it because it is easy to make another line, but it's hard to get it out. And sometimes you make another line and then you fight getting it out, and then, it's a bad cut. So just make sure you comb, and even if you don't see hair, just comb and make sure that you get it off. So as you see, the line is gone completely. And the hair is going in the way that it needs to be. It's going in the way that the grain grows. The line is gone. And now we're about to move on to the shape up. All right, so my advice to you when you go to shape a person up, make sure you brush the hairline down thoroughly and examine it for real, and see which ways it go. And a shape up is basically straight lines. So, there's a straight line across and then a straight line meeting that line on the vertical bar. So this is Granier Holden Spray, Extreme Control. Basically, it just stiffens the hair and it lays the hair down so it doesn't shift when, the vibration of the the trimmers come to shape it up. So you can put about like 2-3 layers on there or whatever you're comfortable with, and, just make sure you put enough. And it's alcohol based, so it dries pretty quickly. And then you're gonna come in with a brush or a comb if you choose. I do because it lays down the hair better, and then I just brush it down. And some barbers typically start in the middle. I start like kind of in the middle-ish when I go to shape up, but you want to start in the middle because you want to have a meeting point when you come from the left or the right, whichever hand you cut with, to meet that side to make sure the hairline is straight. And I'm going to be doing the shape up with the Babyliss FX Gold, Rose Gold. So they the trimmers right there. And I actually don't have the whole video of me shaping them up just because of editing purposes and stuff. Couldn't fit in there, and the clip was kind of messed up. But yeah, you see me coming in from the middle and then just coming across, making a line. Yeah, so basically when the end result, I came across the other side by meeting the point where I first made. So after I finish lining them up, you're gonna see a white line right there. That's actually from the barber pencil. So you put that on there just to add depth to the overall haircut. And this razor right here is actually disposable razor. So you just throw away the head when you finish, dispose of it properly, and just change out the whole tip. So yeah, that's a barber pencil right there. So it just adds the ash line and just makes the haircut look a lot crisper. So when you're using a razor, the reason why my thumb is pulling the skin is because you want to make sure the skin is taut, because if not, you possibly most likely will cut your client. So you want to stretch the skin and make sure that that razor is on an angle so it's not scraping the head, but it's gliding across it and cutting, the fine hairs to make that shape up really pop. So that's what you see me doing there. And I'm just going to make the barber pencil thin, really, really thin. And it's going to just create that ash line. A lot of the times barbers use barber pencils. You can also do it with just the clippers. And if your clippers are sharp enough, you can make the ash line. I can do it that way. I do it this way sometimes. It's just all up to preference. As you see, nice, clean, crisp, quality cut right there, man. The blend is good. The shape up nice and dark. This is just, a good cut overall. And this is the end result right here, man. This is, you know, all the work that we did in the video, everything come out just like that. So let me know what you guys think, man. Comment, like, subscribe. This the Gravy Master, man. Supplying gravy to the community in the tri-state area. You feel me? A Baltimore barber. You know what I mean? I'm trying to grow. Hope y'all can grow with me, man. Thanks.